every once in a while the perfect video will come up where my schedule will allow me to film the guys on the perfect location. This job had all the elements. If you're trying to figure out your design for your DIY project, or if you're a young contractor trying to elevate your game, this video is for you. It's 30 minutes, but it has all the details. If you don't jump around, I guarantee you as a DIYer, you'll know exactly what to do. We have a good one for you today. 3 systems in one. Downspout roof runoff system, in with a French drain system, and a yard drain system, done the correct way. We're going to show every connection of this system. We're going to show you everything, and I don't think I've ever done that before. The cause of action here was water standing in between these 2 homes, the side of the house being completely saturated, and the roof runoff water was just let go right on the side of the house. I'm going to show you what we did. We got 3 systems in one here. And I'm going to explain to you what we did, why we did it. Right here, we want to catch the roof runoff water right at the source. We have our vented cleanout leaf filter where you basically have an adapter that takes you from the gutter downspout to the corrugated pipe. We got the French drain man's not quite a 90. It's on an automatic slope. It gives you slope right to your sediment trap. All the shingle gravel gets caught here. We have our 3-inch coupler on this side. We have our 4-inch coupler on that side. We have to run a 4-inch line because we're catching all the surface water in between these 2 homes. We have our French drain at the bottom of the trench. You can see we have our extra heavy-duty 8-slot. This is virgin pipe, and the wall of this pipe keeps getting thicker and thicker. That's why the inlets get bigger and bigger. The thicker the wall is on a pipe, the more material you can remove. So we definitely have the biggest inlets ever right now. It's beautiful, really nice. The men put a virgin end cap so that stone doesn't fill the pipe. We wanted to use a virgin end cap because our pipe is made of a virgin material. Non-recycled, nothing recycled. Recycled material splits, cracks, collapses. That's why that pipe at Home Depot is so bad. Got an inline sediment trap right here on a solid pipe. Solid pipe. It just sits right on top of the 2 perforated pipes. The 2 perforated pipes are the French drain system. The solid pipe is for the yard drain system that's catching the surface water and the roof runoff water. Beautiful tie-in. Look at this. So the men went ahead, used the vented cleanout leaf filter to connect to the downspout, vertical with the wall of the house. Our French drain man's not quite a 90, has automatic slope put right on it. You can see all the connection points. We did not tape this up. I asked the men to not tape it up so you can see all the connection points. They will tape it up here and here. We went under all the utilities. The 3-inch pipe allows us to go through the sprinkler system, under all the utilities, through landscape lighting. It's beautiful. We don't have to reroute nothing. Again, the men are going to tape here, and they'll have to tape here. We just want it to be watertight. We don't want the roots to get in. Come out this end of the sediment trap. This holds 1 gallon of shingle gravel. 1 gallon. Super easy to get inside. We have a few holes drilled in the bottom so that after all the bulk water's been moved through the system, whatever's left in here can just slowly leach away. The grass can grow up over the turf restrictor plate. You can just pop this out with a screwdriver. There's no set screws of any kind because that's a peeve of mine. I hate screws. None of our stuff has screws. It just gets lost in the grass. It's a pain. So everything's a nice pressed fit. Real good fit. Again, when the grass grows on this turf plate, the homeowner can just pop this, suck this out with a shop vac. You can tell by the shape that all the sediment, it settles down to the center of the sediment trap. It's part of the design. This runs into the 4-inch main. I'm going to show you how we did this. So we sell these in our online store. It's a reducer where you go from 4 to 3. I got people in the comment section that always want to tell me it's an increaser. We're going from 3 to 4-inch. In this case, we're increasing the size. We have dual wall connecting this to To the why? Our roof runoff system and our yard drain can be combined, because if any contaminants get in the solid pipe, they'll flow out. We can't tie it into our French drain pipe because contamination will plug the perforations. We just want groundwater, clean groundwater. We don't want to flow any solids or debris through our French drain system. This is a beautiful, beautiful French drain system. 3 systems in one. We got a French drain system at the bottom. We got a yard drain system and a roof runoff system running in a 4-inch pipe up top. Anytime you connect 2 virgin pipes, use a virgin connector. This is the best connector. Corrugated to corrugated, 4-inch, spring-loaded barbs. You don't even have to tape it. You don't have to tape French drain connections with really good fittings. Tape them if you're afraid they're not going to hold because you used a cheap coupler. But this has 8 of these spring-loaded barbed. Oh, you can just see how they push in and they snap right in. It's a heck of a hold, but that's a heavy-duty, extra heavy-duty coupler, corrugated to corrugated, 4-inch, virgin material to go with our virgin pipe. We're back down here to make room for this inlet basin because we're getting low. We're setting slope on our system. How do we set slope on our system? We have these risers. They give us 2 inches. You add a riser, and then you go to your next catch basin, you add another riser. So you can see they have 2 risers. They started the first catch basin with no riser. The second catch basin had 1 riser. Third catch basin has 2 risers. They did a beautiful job. Now we're using the French Drain Man's. This is our full throttle 4-inch grate. It has more inlet than any other 4-inch grate on the market. It's also made out of virgin HDPE. It's indestructible. You can't crack it. You can't break it. So when you have to get your sediment trap in here, just go ahead, cut a section of your perf pipe out, go ahead and plug it so don't fill full of stone. The water in this French drain system, however high it is in one pipe, it's that high in the other. Water seeks level in the bottom of this trench. That's what that looks like. Guys did a beautiful job. They're tying in another downspout right here. Another, we have these in our store made up for you guys. A Y that goes from 3-inch corrugated to a 4-inch main. That's what that is. You have a branch, a 3-inch corrugated branch going to a 4-inch main. The guys are getting really deep through here. So we went ahead and we cored and tapped. You see how we cored the storm drain? It's a perfect core. The perfect core. The 5-inch core, we'll put a sleeve in there. Always, always, always. It's code, guys. It's code. You want to use hydraulic cement when you put your sleeve in for your connection. Nice and deep. Beautiful. Water used to sit trapped right where we ran our system. There'd be standing water, and then the ground would be saturated. You can see that tree. The ground is high around the tree. That's what happens. These trees get planted. Time goes by. Families move in and out. That's what it looks like. That tree lifted the ground, changed the elevation in this yard. There was no longer any slope away from the house. This tree raised the ground around it. Everything got really flat. Water got hung up in here. I see it all the time. I always talk about how much job security we got because there's just nothing you can do about this. You want a beautiful shade tree in your yard, it's going to change all your elevations. It's going to change the way your yard drains. We're using our heavy-duty 3-inch pipe. We got our extra heavy-duty blue pipe. We did not tape any of the connections so that you could see each coupler, every fitting, every component. Now we do have to go through and we have to tape everything on solid lines. Anything that's a downspout line or that's on that main solid line for the yard drains has to be taped. Water can find its way back to your basement wall, your foundation wall, your crawl space through capillary action. So you don't want the water to leak at the catch basin or the French drain man's not quite a 90. You want to seal that up really, really good. We like to use a 4-inch wide, super sticky, super stretchy plumbing tape. You do not have to tape the leaf filter to the riser. That will stay watertight just the way it is. Now make sure the main line, where all the catch basins are attached, you have to tape this up really good. If all the water leaks out of this main line down into the French drain, you won't have no volume of water to carry tree seeds and tree buds to the discharge line, and the pipe will collect and fill up with debris. The reason for putting small stone underneath your catch basin is so that after all the bulk water has been moved during the torrential rain, the little bit of water that's left in a catch basin, if you drill really tiny holes in it and put a bed of stone underneath it, it will leach into the subsoil so that your catch basins won't stay full of water all the time. We do have a solid cover on it so that mosquitoes can't breed in it. We designed this so that you can very easily pop it out with a slot-headed screwdriver. You just pop that solid plug out, and you can take your shop vacuum, and you can shop vacuum all the shingle gravel out of there. Now remember, right here at the vented clean-out leaf filter, it's vented, so that catch basin doesn't have to be vented. But you really need to tape the top and the bottom of the French drain man's not quite a 90. Right here at the 4-inch trunk line, you have to tape really good that 3-inch branch. You want to make sure this is watertight. You don't want the water just running down into the French drain system. It's not going to affect the French drain system. It's just going to lower the volume of water that this 4-inch trunk line is moving, and any tree seeds, pollen, any rooftop debris will not find its way to the discharge line. It'll just clog the pipe. You can see we have a real long gutter run. We got 2 downspouts on a really long gutter run. A lot of water. All the water from this side of the house comes out of those 2 downspouts. They are a 2x3. I'm not worried about the 3-inch line with a 2x3 downspout. You can't overwhelm a 3-inch line on a 2x3 downspout. We got a 4-inch main. 4-inch main's also taking in the surface water. Guys did a beautiful job. Yard drain, French drain, roof runoff system combined. All 3 systems in one trench. That's getting the most out of your sweat equity. Cut the clay up in small pieces. Do not try to take big giant hunks of clay and pack them around your downspout line. Cut it up in little pieces. Make sure that you compact the dirt and don't disturb the slope that you have. Make sure the dirt doesn't go under the pipe. Cover the top of the catch basin with some dirt and just press the lid on. So this is pretty common. We have a neighbor next door, 2-story home. Anytime you have a 2-story home, keep in mind all your roof runoff water comes off the 2nd story, comes down to the 1st story. You can see the downspout just dumps right into the trough on the 1st story. So we have all this water. Now this just goes under and here. And then what does it do? It gets stuck between the 2 houses. You have to be able to do something with it. You got to take the water further away than that. This system's going to grab up all the water, even the roof water that's from the neighbor's house, and then always catch your roof water right at the downspout. Don't let it go. It's just too hard to gather. Save yourself that headache. Pipe it in right away and take it far away from the structure. Guys did a beautiful job tying in roof runoff system. They're taping up the sediment trap right now. You can see the vented clean out leaf filter, the not quite a 90, the 3-inch coupler that takes you to the 3-inch plus. Over here we have a Y that takes us from a 3-inch to a 4-inch main. Beautiful job. Drill small holes in your catch basin. Make sure your holes are not too large. You don't want to lose too much water at the catch basin during a torrential rain. It really helps to work as a team. If you have somebody holding it so that you don't lose your slope while you're putting drainage stone around it, same with your French drain. I see in too many videos, and I've seen on too many job sites, where if one guy isn't holding the pipe in place while the other is adding the stone into the French drain, the stone will find its way up and under the French drain pipe.
The catch basins have to be a little lower than your turf grass. Water always finds the lowest point, and if you're trying to catch surface water, your inlet basin has to be lower than the ground around it. When building a tri-pack or quad pack with 4-inch pipe, I prefer a little bit smaller stone. You can see the stone here is a mix. We have 3/4 inch stone mixed with on up to about 1.5 inches, but I have quite a bit of the small stone in this mixture. So it's going to pack all that tubing together, and it's going to hold it on its slope and keep that pipe in place. Smaller stone packs around an inline catch basin and holds it in place, much better than large stone.
We got the second story water, pours down on the first story, then all the water comes down this downspout here. We got that on a 3-inch line. It's a 2x3 downspout, man. You can't overwhelm it. You're not going to overwhelm a 3-inch line by hooking up to a 2x3 downspout. Not going to happen.
Everybody's always commenting about the men standing on this blue pipe. Everybody's always commenting about the machines driving over top of the blue high octane. We have our armor pipe in the solid, and we got our high octane in our 8 slot. Doesn't matter if you weigh 250 pounds. It doesn't matter if you drive your mini skid loader over the trench. This pipe is the heaviest yard drain pipe on the market. It's purpose built to be in yards shallow so that lawnmowers drive right over top of it, and it only has a few inches of dirt on top. That is what's different between a yard drain pipe and an agricultural pipe. Ag pipe is deeper. Yard drain pipes are shallow, so they're more exposed to damage. The past 5 years, our pipe has just gotten thicker and thicker. Now look at how the men left the stone a little low. That's done deliberately because we have to leave room for some sand on top of the fabric and for the turf grass that we cut off. We always cut the turf grass as thick as we possibly can so that we can get as much root and topsoil as we possibly can.
So I'll show you guys what this looks like. Got the yard drain on top. You got the 2 French drain pipes on bottom. You only tie in one of the French drain pipes. That's it. You don't have to tape it. As long as you got a good coupler and it's got a good hold on it, there's no need to tape it. It's a French drain. You're trying to let all the water in. You don't have to tie this one in. Just plug it so it don't fill full of stone. It's that easy, guys. The water at the bottom of the trench is going to seek level. So however high it is in this bottom pipe, it's going to be that high here. All the water can empty through one pipe. That's it. No struggles. We use a 45 right here. You guys know that we sell the Y with the 45. There's a piece of dual wall connecting that 45 to that Y. We make it easy for the DIYer.
When designing your yard drain system on top of your French drain system, always put an inline catch basin with an inlet grate right where you had a puddle. Everywhere you puddled water, go ahead and grab that bulk water, a good gauge to make sure you have it set at the correct level. You want the bottom of your turf restrictor plate to lay on the top of the fabric to the French drain system. If you set it that way, it'll be set at the perfect height.
We're able to get a lot of pitch. You can see there's pitch around the bend. Guys drop down low. Once we get here, man, it just breaks so hard. Falls really nice to the storm drain. It's going to be a beautiful system. We got it on a 4-inch main, 3 downspouts, a yard drain, and a French drain. It's going to move a lot of water. With as much slope as we have on that discharge line, that 4-inch pipe, corrugated 4-inch pipe, will move 220 gallons per minute. This house is higher. Concrete shedding water, there's roof water, everything's going this way. All that water ends up here, used to stand there. Water had no way out. We're grabbing up the surface water in these inlets. Again, these are our full throttle 4-inch. See how big that inlet is? It's bigger than any other 4-inch grate on the market. It's made out of virgin HDPE. You cannot break it. It's indestructible. Because that tree grew up over here and it raised the ground. The ground is all raised right here. They put a pad for a shed years ago. Nobody knew what they were doing to the drainage at the time, of course. That's how that looks. This here is a valley. We're in a swale. We got it sloped. We shoot that gap. Beautiful. Beautiful system. Evacuating this water quickly, swiftly, depositing it. So basically it gets deposited into a storm drain system.
1 inch of drop for every 8 feet of distance is 1% slope. Make sure you get your discharge line correct. Think of it this way. Your French drain pipe has to be higher than your discharge line.
You can see how the men went ahead and took the double punch filter fabric, formed a pocket to hold all the stone. When you get to that solid discharge line, you don't want any contamination in your French drain system. This system's gonna rip.
A good excavator operator can bounce the machine and compact all the dirt on the discharge line.
All right, so this is important. Always cut excess fabric. Beautiful job right here. When you end up with too much fabric, go ahead and cut that excess off. That way you don't have a heavy overlap. There's millions of holes punched in this fabric to improve its flow rate. So if you overlap it, those holes don't line up. A non-woven geotextile filter fabric that is not punched will give you problems. One that is punched, installed this way, will perform the correct way. This is what everybody gets wrong when it comes to drainage fabric. It's so important. It's the make it or break it of fabric.
When trimming the fabric out around the inlet basin of the inline sediment traps, make sure you pull one side over it and just cut it with a razor blade, and you could literally, like a seal, it'll stretch out and you'll get that fabric to hook really well. That was beautifully done. Patrick did a wonderful job. Now he's trimming some of the excess off and he's pinning the fabric. Keep in mind, the non-woven geotextile filter fabric is going to prevent contamination from getting into your French drain system, and it's going to preserve it for decades and decades to come.
It's normal to have a gap right where the fabric is pulled tight and the trench wall. Guys are doing a beautiful job. They're filling in that gap with the smaller stone that we have. If you don't have small stone, use sand, fill sand, play sand. Any sand will work. That way you don't end up with the homeowner calling you saying there's been some settling. Look at all the time spent cutting off the extra fabric. This is what people don't do. They go ahead and they fold it. You got it layered up. And when this is layered, you fold it and then you pull the other layer over top of it. You're not going to get the water to infiltrate the way you want. Now, of course, we have a yard drain system for bulk water, but we still want to take in as much surface water with our French drain as we possibly can, and we're going to take in a lot of surface water. Now we're putting sand on top of the filter fabric. Again, this is going to increase its infiltration rate. This is going to improve the way it takes in surface water. It's going to work 365 days out of the year grabbing up the subsurface water. It's going to do a beautiful job of that. But when it rains and there's bulk water at the surface and you want it to take that water in quickly, you definitely want to have sand on the top of your non-woven geotextile filter fabric when you're looking to grab up a lot of surface water. If you have a lot of bulk water, this is the way to do it.
We install in Michigan, so we're in the north. And we do have sprinkler systems here, automatic sprinklers. But if you're installing in Texas, Georgia, Florida, where it gets hotter, where the region just sees hotter temperatures, long periods of drought, you're going to want to put more dirt on top of your French drain system. A technique that we use when we do not have automatic sprinklers, we'll mix topsoil with sand, and it would be a couple more inches than you see in this installation. You definitely want to rent a sod cutter. You see how nice these pieces go back together because it was cut off with a sod cutter?
Look how nice this looks. Can you believe it? So always blow the dirt out of the grass before you go to put that sod back. So where these inlet basins really do their job is in the winter in the north. This ground will end up frozen sometimes. What'll happen is you'll have a thaw and you'll have snow melt. You might have like a freezing rain. It literally will form like this sheet. And the water just can't get into the ground. It can't get into the French drain. When it thaws, this opens right up and just starts taking that water in. They work amazing. So in the north, we love those in these situations where you're worried about your French drain not taking in surface water, causing flooding. Beautiful job by a professional crew. All right, this video is the after. This is after we take a leaf blower, we fluff up the grass. This is it. This is after all that construction, all that work. Roof runoff system tied into a yard drain system and a French drain beneath those two systems. All three systems built into one, making the most of your sweat equity. The homeowner paid us to come in here and excavate a trench. We got 3 systems in one trench. We made the most of the homeowner's allowance to take care of this water problem. We have a lot of slope when we get back here. This thing's going to scream. We're going to be probably putting out about 220 gallons per minute on a 4-inch line. A lot of fall back here. This system's going to scream. The tree can get bigger and bigger. It can keep raising the ground. It's not going to hurt us. We have a system in place right here. We're in good shape. We have a project coordinator that goes through the system with the client. Dirk right now is taking the homeowners through the system. He's explaining to them how to take the door off the leaf filter, when to do that, when you want to pop the lid to the inline sediment trap, clean out the shingle gravel with a wet dry vac. This is how you run your crew at the highest level, right here. Customer care is important. We really pride ourselves. I really pride myself in this crew and it being an extension of how I want to be treated. I can't say enough good about the staff here, from everybody, from the sales to the installers, the girls in the office, everybody. It takes an army. Beautiful job by a professional crew. If you found any of this helpful, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any comments or questions regarding the system, leave them in the comment section and I'll answer them. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.